It's good to have you back on Newsday. Is theatre performance losing its attraction and validity? Again, can stage art remain relevant in this age of streaming and cinematic evolution? These are some of the questions that speak to the very heart of the unfolding transition from old way of doing things and what some critics have called the alternative realities of the contemporary world. How exactly does it work? Well, we have here with us for a discussion Okhueleigbe, who is a literary critic, an arts and culture enthusiast, and Etagwere or Genetega, who is public relations officer, English and Literary Students Association of the University of Benin. Welcome, gentlemen, to both of you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, Harrison, I'm going to start with you. So, regarding theatre performances, how would you assess its appreciation or lack of it in the Nigerian community right now?
I think there is an appreciation of theatre and art performance on stage. It's just that right now it looks like there's a rarity of it. It's not like it's been knocked off entirely. But I would say that there's still a focus on how it's been done in the traditional old way. And so there has to be a renaissance, so to speak, if you like, to sort of revamp how it's being produced or presented to the audience, because the audience is still there. You know, with all of the technology advancement and cultural change we have around in the world, there has to be a reinvention of some sort of how theatre performance is presented to the audience that will make it more relevant. It's still very much there. It's not been extinguished.
Etagwere, right? Good, I did a good job. Now let's talk about the rarity of stage performances. Some might say it's become non-existent at best. So what do you have to say to that?
Okay, so I believe stage performance is still in existence, but then we need to bring it out more, because I mean we can agree that has come to stay. We can agree that what's this word? I'm sorry, it's stuck in my head. Yeah, but we can agree that stage performance generally has come to stay. The audience is there, but then we need to bring things to the fact that civilization has gone far beyond the way it is. Stage performance cannot be done in just the traditional way it is done again. We need to bring in, what's this word again? I just said it a few seconds ago.
Stage performance.
We need to bring in civilization into stage performance and forget that theatre is an art, and it includes the fact that we need to bring in what's the word? It includes the fact that we need to bring in civilization into it, because we can't just do theatre in this age without including civilization. It's actually not going to go anywhere.
All right, Harrison, cinemas and online streaming platforms, Netflix and the likes, they've gained a greater share of viewership, as it were, and sometimes knocking off the issue of theatre art. So globally, how's Nigeria faring with this new reality on ground? And what should we do to kind of contain that reality?
Yeah, I think personally, cinema actually saved theatre. Like I said in my earlier comment, it's just the way we are approaching it. Yeah, it is true that cinema and streaming services are the in thing today. And that's because these platforms are taking advantage of the technology and the cultural shifts today. People are more on the go and very busy, and so these streaming services come in handy for them. But what if theatre adopts these measures as well? For instance, we have theatre groups. We have theatre houses like Terra Culture, for instance, that is supported by Austin Peters. Now that is very much modern. And if you go on their page, you have review pages where people who have gone to see plays, they can review what they've done. That's making use of technology. Now we could also have a situation whereby we have companies who are very much supporting this technology advancements, like MTN, for instance, supports Project Fame. But these are more accustomed to bringing celebrities than, you know, sort of help theatre grow. Now, if you do theatre with this sort of new approach, you know, using technology, social media, so to speak, because you can actually have theatre online, you know, but what we're talking about is people going to the theatres and feeling this riveting, palpable, kinetic feeling which speaks to you more than just watching on a screen, for instance, or streaming from your phone or your laptop. And theater, arts and culture, theater generally helps to drive arts and culture more than you would just watching a movie. So I think what we need to do is to change the way we do it. In the past, what we had were troops move around from maybe villages to villages, towns to towns, states to states, and that's the old way. Right now, you can't do that because that's very, very cost demanding, and that will mean that tickets for people who want to go see plays will be very more expensive. But if you adopt these means and you have say government coming to, because really it's their responsibility to actually help promote arts and culture, and you have the private sector and these organizations wanting to support these things with probably some sort of XYZ tax rebates, help push these things. Of course, theater will be revamped, and it has never gone anywhere. It will be reinvented.
Well, truth be told, we have to move with the times now. I'll come to you, Etagwere. Even if these are arts that have been around for a long time, truth be told, if you don't move with the times, you will get stuck in the past. So who are the stakeholders that can help enhance modernization of theater art, since you are so keen on saving it? Because truth be told, if people see it as, oh, that's a Stone Age thing, they might not think it's the in thing. So how can you make it more interesting, especially for the young ones, those who fall under probably teenagers and in that age bracket? So you have to make it a bit exciting. Now, who are those stakeholders that could modernize?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to chip in that, in fact, this modern age is more interested in theater, but we've not just brought it to them the way it should be, because as a student in the university, we have a lot of other shows outside theater. But then when we put out theater, the audience is there back to back. It's filled up, and then they get what they want. So basically, we need to improve, and the stakeholders to help improve this, people who support art and culture. Also, we can talk about NGOs that actually support ridiculing social issues, because theater, one thing you can't take away from theater is satire. Basically, it could be entertaining and everything, but then there's always a satire to ridicule maybe an ill or something. So this society, NGOs and the likes that ridicules issues, that wants to eradicate these issues, should basically come out and support theater. Also the government as well. The government has a role to play in eradicating a lot of issues in the society. They are our government, that's why they are there. So they should support theater. And then with this, we'd improve it for this age. And the people will definitely see what they want. And then the audience is getting it.
Still talking about, let me just, talking about the audience he made mention, and going from Cynthia's question regarding, let's take a look at the specifics now. What age range currently has enthusiasm for theatre performances, as it were, and how can Nigeria expand this on a broader scale? You find out, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, like you mentioned earlier, we go to the, there's this troop movement from one location to the other. But now, how can we even make use of optimal use of technology to encourage that increase in the space?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question with my own experience in the UK, basically. And I was reading a poll about people who attend stage performance, theatre generally, and it would be interesting. It's interesting to note that the age range of people, which is around 72% that attend theatre, some sort of stage performance, be it opera or play, or drama on the stage, were between the ages of 16 to 44. Now, 72% is way more than those who attended a football match or musical concerts. Now, what the UK is doing differently, which we're not doing here, is that most of the celebrity are in your movies and your cinema videos and what have you. But in the UK, what they do is, all of those stars, those Hollywood stars you have, for instance, say Benedict Cumberbatch, who's playing Doctor Strange, still acts in the theatre currently. Your Anthony Hopkins, all those popular persons. So these are the people these young people know. So they're happy to watch them on streaming services and also go to the theatre. Another thing is, it's a cultural thing in the UK. right? This has not been eroded. As much as these Western countries are becoming much more woke, they are proud to retain part of their tradition and culture. So just to add to people who are responsible for this, I think the government plays a major part. I talked about the fact that I've taken part in some sort of competition, to produce literary work in the UK, and I was given grants because I was of ethnic minority. So the government has a full role to play before we begin to talk about organizations who are willing to. Many of these organizations obviously want to make profits, but some persons just want to serve as patrons and have their names put out there as supporters of arts and culture. I think the major problem is here in Nigeria, there's an erosion of culture and tradition. And we cannot actually say we are who we are if we erode what we are, which is culture and tradition.
Very good. And on that very last note, Harrison, Okhueleigbe, and of course, Tegwere Ogenetega, I'd like to thank you both for coming on to Newsday. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.